Don, what do you make of what's taking place in terms of mail-in voting and the campaign suit now against the governor of New Jersey?
Well, the Democrats are trying to do this across the country because they understand that's the only way they can actually win. They have a candidate that doesn't know where he is 50% of the time. I mean, he literally cannot remember where he is. So this is the way they can do that. They've seen it, whether it's Jerry Nadler, not exactly a conservative, talking about the failures of mail-in balloting in New York. You have the examples in Michigan where tens of thousands of ballots are coming back incorrect. They were put in late. You had a dead cat that received a ballot that's been dead for 12 years since the end of the Bush administration in Atlanta. I mean, this is the kind of insanity, this kind of plan that the Democrats want to try to manipulate this election. They're all on the record prior to Donald Trump being in office saying how disastrous this is. But it's honestly the only way they can win. I know someone who got 4 ballots to the same address to their house for people who no longer live there. The rolls are filled with millions and millions of people across the country who may no longer live in those states, making it an opportunity ripe for election interference. For the party that's so concerned about election interference, they seem to be 100% fine with all of these procedures that could totally manipulate and change an election and give you the opposite result of what the American people actually want. So what's going on is pretty sick, and obviously we have to fight those sort of things.
I have a friend who showed me ballots that on the outside of the ballots, there's a number, and it's like lots of different numbers, but in the middle of it, it says either R or D. And she was concerned about that because if it says R or D on the outside of your ballot, then if you're a Democrat, you might say, oh, this is an R, I'm just going to chuck it. I'm just going to throw it away. So you're right. There is this potential.
And that could very well happen.
Yeah.
And I imagine most at the post office probably lean a little bit left. So that happening wouldn't surprise me. But again, you hear about the cases all over the country, Maria. Now we have to make a distinction. I think we are fine, and my father's been very clear about being fine with absentee balloting, where one individual goes through a procedure, requests a ballot. This is a system that's worked very well in Florida and many other states, but it's tied to an individual with an actual form of identification to eliminate that fraud. And if you go through that process, we're 100% fine with that for those who don't necessarily want to go to the polling booth that day. So it's not that we're trying to say you can't do any of it. Again, I think if you can loot in person, you can vote in person. The Democrats seem fine with the looting in person part, not so much the other way because they want to be able to do it all by mail where they can manipulate it. But again, we're 100% fine with absentee balloting. People go through the regular process, and you know that one person is getting one vote. That's the way our system is designed, and we're 100% fine with that.
So real quick, you mentioned this